So I don't know. Is this dropping frames at all, Vaxer? I'm not going to start recording the show because if it starts dropping frames, I don't want to... I'm just going to leave it running for a little bit first. Yeah, because I was running my Twitch bandwidth test tool, and it was giving me... well, I showed you guys the first screenshot, but after that it was... I don't know. 0 quality to the New York one. Oh, man. There's a huge delay on this. Normal latency. Dang it. I wonder if there's a huge delay. Oh, no. Look at that. I'm dropping frames. Although that time it was only... like 100 frames, so that's not that big a deal. I interrupted the totally reliable delivery service first look. I'm sorry. I was unable to stream on Twitch. Is it Hugh? What? So far we're dropping frames. Lots and lots of frames. Oh my god, Spectrum, why are you the worst at everything? No, but this is here's the thing though, Vaxer. I've been having this problem for 3 years. Where intermittently my upload speed turns to trash. And they won't do anything about it because they know that I can't go anywhere else with my money. Oh, thank you very much for listening to the content there, Maxie. I appreciate it. I'm a fan of how you spell favorite. It's weird. Fisto, I like that those icons. Those are great. All right, let me ask a question. Oh my god, Vaxer. Do I do the show like this? Where we might lose the live show? What do you guys think? Or do I just record offline and upload it so I don't get distracted by the fact that I'm dropping frames? That's right, local monopolies. That's the problem. That's the problem. There's no other option where I live. Vaxer says, do it for our enjoyment. I'm sorry. What Vaxer says is, do it for our enjoyment, human. Hey, Ted. What's up, man? Ted says do the show. All right. Well, if Ted says to do the show, then I guess I have to do the show. I don't really get a choice in the matter, do I? I have to do what Ted says. All right. Well, we've tried to do... Oh, my God. No, look at that. I'm dropping frames like crazy. Up to 10% of frames. 2,300 frames have been dropped. 2,400 frames have been dropped. 2,500 frames have been dropped. 2,700 frames have been dropped. 3,000 frames have been dropped now. This is the worst. It is so distracting. All right, I'm turning off the status bar. So now if I am dropping frames, I won't even know. Don't tell me if I'm dropping frames. I don't want to know, because all it does is distract me and drive me crazy. And I don't need any help in that department. Oh, I just turned off the status monitor so I can't see it. I'm also going to record the show locally so I can upload it to Twitch afterwards, because I know that there are some people who watch it. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I won't. That seems like extra work. I don't feel like doing extra work. This is why I need a producer. You know? This doing everything myself is nonsense and distracting and difficult. After the stream, you'll have to pick every single one of the 3,000 frames. Oh, it's well past 3,000 frames at this point, I'm sure. All right, here we go.
Let's go.
On episode 499 of Nintendo Switchcraft, Animal Crossing is getting expensive. More details on those Mario games I told you about last episode and Minecraft Dungeons gives us a release date. Those stories and more on this episode of Nintendo Switchcraft.
Hey, this is Mr. Strauss from La Mesa Junior High School, and you're listening to the sweet and smooth sounds of Nintendo Switchcraft. Stick around.
Welcome back, everybody, to Switchcraft. It is normally brought to you live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday over at my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/runjumpstomp. However, that did not happen today because I was unable to get a decent connection to Twitch for some reason. So instead, I'm streaming this over on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/runjumpstomp. Make sure you follow me on Twitch and subscribe to me on YouTube. It really, really does help out. Both of those places. This episode of Switchcraft is made possible by patrons like you. Bill, usually you say the name of a patron when you do that, and you're right, I do. Patreon just updated their UI, and basically what I used to do is I would sort the list of patrons by their join date, and I would go through each patron. And I would say, all right, well, this is the one for today, and then the next person who joined is the next day, and I would go through all of the patrons, and it would take me a couple of months to get through all of them, but then I would get through all of them and start right back at the beginning. Now, I was probably about 5 or 6 from the end of the list, and Patreon updated that view, and I can no longer sort by join date. Now all I can sort by is how much people have contributed and how much people contribute per month. So because of that, I can't go through and list every single person like I used to throughout the episodes. So from now on, I'm just going to say patrons like you. And just please know that if you are one of those many, many patrons, that I definitely appreciate you. It drives me crazy that Patreon did that. Hey, thank you very much for all the support. If you are like, what's going on with that Patreon? If you want to get all of my content, Nintendo Switchcraft, 143 Pixels, any of my shows, if you want to get all of those shows without any ads in them, join the Patreon over at patreon.com/runjumpstomp. You can join for as little as $1. I've been thinking about the Patreon a lot lately because I always struggle to find ways to thank the patrons for helping out the show. And every time I say something like that, everybody always tells me, Bill, don't worry about it. We're patrons because we want to support the show. We want to support you making content like this. And I very, very much appreciate it. But I always want to try and find ways to say thank you to people. And I'm just really bad at finding ways to say thank you other than simply saying thank you, that I can do on a regular basis that people are also interested in. I've done a couple things where I'm like, I'll do an AMA or something like that, and only a couple of patrons seem to be interested in that. The patron Discord channel doesn't really get used all that much. So if you can think of ways that I can basically say thank you to the patrons for all of the support that they've given, please let me know. I may do it, I may not do it. It all depends on how much time it takes and how useful other patrons will find it. But if you have ideas, let me know. Send me a message on Patreon. And if you're not a patron and you're thinking of ways, you can get a hold of me on Twitter or something like that, or talk to me on Discord. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about the Nintendo news for today. Animal Crossing is getting expensive. Animal Crossing is getting expensive. We now have 4 Nintendo Switches in this house. My son, my wife, and I have been playing tons of Animal Crossing. We've all been sitting out on the couch together. My son will have it up on the big screen, and my wife and I are playing with the Switches in handheld mode, and we've been having an absolute blast. And I felt like my niece was kind of getting left out because she didn't have a Nintendo Switch. She's not a huge video gamer, but she did mention that she was kind of interested in this weird Animal Crossing game that we were playing. So my wife and I were talking about it, and she said, well, let's get her one. And I said, absolutely. We're going to have to wait until after all this nonsense is over, because let me hit no thank you. My phone was ringing. We have to wait until all this nonsense is over, because it's almost impossible to find a Nintendo Switch right now. Well, guess what? We were able to find one. My wife went on, it's funny, she had gotten an email that day about some stupid coupon over at Best Buy. So she said, well, let me check Best Buy's website. And sure enough, they had Nintendo Switch Lites there, a turquoise one. My niece wanted a yellow one, but we didn't want it to get mixed up with my wife's yellow one. So we ended up getting her she could choose between turquoise and gray. So she chose turquoise. And now we've got 4 Nintendo Switches here in the house and 4 copies of Animal Crossing. And we are all running around on the island and having an absolute blast. Now, speaking of Animal Crossing, I want to take a moment to talk about this really weird tweet that I saw. Daniel Ahmed, who tweets about the video game industry, he sent out this hilarious tweet. Apparently, there's a Chinese Animal Crossing player who set up a store on their island where players can go to the store and buy items that the person designed in the game, because in Animal Crossing, you can go into the game and you can use like a little pixel editor to make a picture. And then you can have that picture either on the floor or on a shirt. My son spent a bunch of time yesterday making these really, really cool walkways. Like he made like cobblestone walkways with that editor, and he spent the day putting them throughout his island. Well, this guy is making things, and then he made his QR code for WeChat Play or Ali Pay QR codes so that people could pay him for his designs. Now, I don't know if Nintendo is okay with this, but I just think it's incredibly clever of this guy to do that. So weird. Like this is the kind of thing that only happens in the video game industry. It's just so absolutely bizarre that they had that. Speaking of Animal Crossing, I do want to say that I'm going to be doing, throughout the year, Animal Crossing continues to get update on update on update over and over and over. It just keeps getting updated with new stuff all year, and that's going to happen for the next couple of years. So what I think that I should do is, there's a lot of people who listen to the podcast and they may not care about Animal Crossing. And then there's others that really, really care about Animal Crossing. And a lot of Animal Crossing podcasts have sprung up around this. And I don't want to make a podcast that's just about Animal Crossing, because that is so incredibly narrow of a niche that there's not going to be a huge audience for that. However, what I figured I could do is whenever there is big changes to Animal Crossing, this isn't necessarily about like Animal Crossing news, like this weird QR code thing, but whenever there's big like changes coming to Animal Crossing, I think I'm going to do a bonus episode, kind of like I did a bonus episode yesterday for Bravely Default 2 and Totally Reliable Delivery Service. If you haven't listened to that bonus episode, go back and listen to that bonus episode, please. But I think I'm going to do Animal Crossing bonus episodes throughout the year as new stuff comes in. Oh, hey, these are the fish that you're looking to get before this date. Like yesterday, I spent a bunch of time trying to get a string of fish before it disappeared. But that's the kind of thing that's going to happen. You'll see it on the feed, and if you like Animal Crossing stuff, then of course download it. And if you don't, then don't. But I think that a lot of people will probably find that information useful. Before we go any further, I want to take a moment to thank Bowser13 for two things. First off, Bowser13 this morning opened up her island, not this morning, this afternoon, opened up her island in Animal Crossing, and I went there and sold all of my turnips for over 500 bells a piece. Made me like 500,000 bells, which was awesome. So big thank you to Bowser13. I tried to drop some money and she wouldn't take it. She yelled at me and said no, but I appreciate it. And then she just did a $5 super chat. I'm recording this on YouTube. They have super chats over there. So thank you very much for all of the support. I very much appreciate it. All right. Speaking of money, since we talked about that $5 super chat, speaking of money, in Europe, Nintendo is going to get a big sale, apparently. And this is coming to us from NintendoLife.com. They said that Nintendo of Europe has today lifted the lid on a mighty sounding Nintendo Switch sale. Enjoy offers on over 300 Nintendo Switch games on our spring eShop sale starting this Thursday. That would be tomorrow at 1500 CEST. So that's 3 p.m. Central European Standard Time. 80% off. That's really good. I'm looking forward to it. We haven't heard anything about a North American or a Japanese sale that's going on. Fingers crossed that happens, but right now we don't know if that's going to happen. What I will say is this got me interested in what things are on sale right now, and I would not suggest running out and spending money because it's likely that there'll also be a North American sale or a sale in your region, and if that happens, then I don't want you to have wasted money. However, I looked at Deku deals and I sorted by the all-time low discount, and there's some games in here that jump out at me as pretty damn good deals. So I wanted to share those with you. First off, Octopath Traveler is currently on sale for 50% off. If you recently played Bravely Default 2 and you're like, man, I am itching to play a JRPG, and you don't have Octopath Traveler yet, and you don't feel like waiting for Bravely Default 2, then Octopath Traveler for $30 is a really good deal, and you should jump on that if you don't have it yet and you like JRPGs. Here's another one that's really weird. Knights of Pen and Paper +1 Deluxe Year Edition is 60% off. You can get that game right now for $6, and that is a game where you are players who are playing D&D, and it is a very meta game. So, like, you are playing as the people who are playing characters who are playing D&D, if that makes sense. Very, very tongue-in-cheek humor. It has incredible pixel art, and overall, I think it's an awesome game. And for $6, that's a really good deal. 60% off. That's awesome. So definitely you want to check that one out. If you're looking for a game that is very reminiscent of Zelda: A Link to the Past, I would recommend Blossom Tales: The Sleeping King. That's a wonderful game. Very cool pixel art. Again, awesome art style and presentation, and very much feels like it's a game that is made in the vein of old school Super Nintendo era Zelda games. Fantastic game, and I had a ton of fun with it. And going through the list, I'm looking for one more game to share with everybody. All right, here's one, Bomber Crew. Bomber Crew is currently 75% off. It's down to $3.74. And this is a cool game. You play as a crew of people who are on an old school, like World War II era style bomber plane. So you've got like a pilots and gunners and like all of the people who work on the plane, and you have to kind of control those people and run your bombing mission. And the thing about this game that it reminds me very much of FTL. If you've never played FTL, it's very much in the same vein. So Bomber Crew, Blossom Tales, Knights of Pen and Paper, and Octopath Traveler. Those are some really, really good games that are on sale right now. And if those don't scratch your itch, then I would say hold out, because we're likely to get some new games on sale very, very soon, if the other regions are following what's going on with Europe. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll hear from a sponsor, and when we come back, we're going to talk about The Outer Worlds. Be right back.
Double Dragon 3, the ultimate in NES martial arts action continues with all new weapons, characters, and street fighting moves against the world's most awesome villains. Double Dragon 3 from Acclaim. The action keeps coming.
All right, and we are back. The Outer Worlds has posted this on Twitter. They said, "Good news, Spacers. We are planning to open the Halcyon Colony to future employees on the Nintendo Switch on June 5th, 2020. You will soon be able to take the Outer Worlds with you on the go to fulfill your work duties." Now, if you don't know what Outer Worlds is, it is basically, I would say it's like somebody took the formula for Fallout and they put it in space, and they did a really, really good job. I played this when it came to Xbox Game Pass on my PC, and it's a fantastic game. I didn't finish it because I got distracted by shiny things, and Bill doesn't finish games, and we all know that. But I had a lot of fun playing it when I did play it, and it's coming June 5th, 2020. Now, if you want to know how much that is going to set you back, let me bring that up, and I'm going to the Outer Worlds. I'm going to Nintendo.com. Oh my gosh, why is it not coming up? Outer Worlds. It's not coming up at all. I don't know how much it's going to be. So let me click on the link that they gave us in the actual show notes. There we go. It's $60 digitally and physically. All right, so $60. Again, it's a very, very cool game, and if you like Fallout, you're going to enjoy the Outer Worlds as well. I mean, it comes from Obsidian Entertainment. They make really fantastic games. They absolutely always have. So there you go. Are you going to be picking up the Outer Worlds on a Nintendo Switch? I'm very curious about this. In fact, that seems like a good question for the Saturday show. If you didn't know, every Saturday I do a new show where it's not a new show. I don't know why I said that. It's because I'm trying to do too many things at the same time. Every Saturday, I do a show based on what you want me to talk about. So this time, I'm going to ask a question, and I'm going to read your responses. And let's see what that question will say. Will you be playing the Outer Worlds on Nintendo Switch when we'll say when it comes to the Nintendo Switch, when it comes to Nintendo Switch on, when the heck was that? I need to look again. I closed that June 5th. June 5th. Reply with your reasons, and I'll read them on the show Saturday. Ask RJS. All right, let's do a poll. Yes, no, 7 days. Tweet And I got to bookmark that. I'll click on it real quick so I can read it. So my question was, will you be playing The Outer Worlds when it comes to Nintendo Switch on June 5th? Reply with your reasons, and I will read them on the show on Saturday. That's Saturday. We just do Ask RJS. It's all about all of the questions that you, not necessarily questions, but questions, comments, and ideas and overall gaming thoughts that you want me to talk about on Saturday. So reply to that tweet. I'm at RunJumpStomp on Twitter, and we'll see what everybody says. All right. Last episode, I talked about the idea that there's a bunch of Mario games that are coming to the Nintendo Switch. This is, again, rumors, but a lot of video game publishers, the bigger ones, are saying that they can confirm it. Companies like Video Games Chronicle, I always have trouble with that. Video Games Chronicle, they are saying that they can now confirm that among Mario titles set to appear on Switch are 1997's Super Mario 64, 2002's Super Mario Sunshine, and 2007's Super Mario Galaxy. All three of those games are absolute masterpieces. You like, if you haven't played some of these games, you're in for a treat. Now, I will point out the Super Mario Sunshine was shipped unfinished and very, very buggy, but it was still so much fun. I had an absolute blast with it. I still very much remember back in 1997, I had to go to my my sergeant, because I was in the Army at the time, and I had pre-ordered at Toys R Us my Nintendo 64 with Super Mario 64. And I had to say, hey, can I swap shifts with somebody so I can come in after I pick this up and then work super late in order to make sure that I am able to pick this up, because I had pre-ordered it. And he said yes, which was really, really awesome of him. So I went and stood in line at Toys R Us. I got my game system. I brought it home to the barracks. I dropped it off. I went to work, and I had to work like a really, really long shift because I was standing in line forever at Toys R Us. And then after work, I got home, and I played Super Mario 64 like all night. I was so exhausted the next day. That game absolutely blew my mind. Like the part where you can grab Mario's nose and pull on it, and the way he spoke to you through Charles Martinet's voice. What an amazing game. So even if that information wasn't enough, I love that they say that they can confirm. I love that. That's huge. They also said that we're going to be getting other games, including a deluxe version. Oh, by the way, I'm sorry. There are other publications that I forgot to mention that have said that Mario 64, Sunshine, and Mario Galaxy, those three games are going to be in a collection, which is very, very cool. That means you buy it once and you have all three games, which is that's very exciting. All right. In addition to that collection, again, this is just rumor, but in addition to that collection, other Mario titles that we're getting in 2020 include a deluxe version of Super Mario 3D World, which is really, really fun. That game is awesome. You're going to have a lot of fun with it if you missed it on the Wii U, and most people did, because the Wii U was very unpopular as far as video game consoles go. And apparently, a new Paper Mario game is coming that is supposed to return to the RPG roots after some backlash from people with the direction that Nintendo has taken the Paper Mario franchise. I think that this is all awesome news, and I'm very, very excited about that. I can't wait to find out. I hope that it happens because those are awesome games, and a lot of people who are playing games now may have missed out on those games, and it would be really cool to get 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy in a combo. That would just be awesome. I can't wait to find out if this is true, and I'm guessing that we'll find out sometime in June. All right, one last story before we get out of here. This one is tweeted out by Minecraft Dungeons. That game was supposed to come out this month. However, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, It has kind of slowed everything, all development, to a crawl. I expect lots and lots of these posts where games are delayed. And it says, gather your friends and gear up for adventure. Minecraft Dungeons is coming out on May 26th on Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, Windows, Xbox One, and Xbox Game Pass. Pre-order your copy now. And I think that that's great. It's delayed, which is fine. That is completely acceptable. If you don't know what Minecraft Dungeons is, it's basically Diablo in Minecraft. At least that's what it seems like from what I've seen. I think that that's what this feels like, and I think it looks really, really fun. I'm probably not going to be picking this up on Nintendo Switch, though, because I do have Xbox Game Pass on PC, so I'll probably be able to play this game for part of that subscription anyway. But are you going to be picking up Minecraft Dungeons when it comes out on May 26th? Let me know. I'm going to post a tweet that asks about that, and I can reply. I'll read your replies on Saturday's show. I'll make that tweet right after I finish the show. Speaking of finishing the show, that's pretty much it. Become a part of our community over at our community Discord at runjumpstomp.com/Discord. You can also watch the show live at twitch.tv/runjumpstomp, or in this case, youtube.com/runjumpstomp. Get a hold of me through Twitter at runjumpstomp. And this show is part of the Giant Size Team Up Network. If you want to check out the other shows on the network, head on over to gstu.net. I want to say a big thank you to everybody who is a patron. You guys are amazing. Thank you to all of our Twitch Prime subscribers. If you're an Amazon Prime subscriber, you can subscribe to Twitch Prime for free. I want to say one more thing about Patreon before we go. If any of you need to cancel your Patreon, I hope that you will do so and still listen to the show. I would much rather that you... A lot of people feel guilty. This is not... While this is a big part of my income, it is bonus income. I have a real job where I make the actual money that I live off of. This is, yes, it's a big part of my income, but it's bonus income. And take care of yourself before you take care of me. Okay. So anybody out there who feels guilty, and I've had people send me messages, I feel so bad about canceling my Patreon. Don't feel bad about it. Just cancel it, and if things turn around, then come back. And if not, please still listen to the show and continue to interact with me. You guys are all awesome. Anyway, the music that you're hearing right now is Corneria Star Fox remix by Noteblock. I'll see you all next time. Until then, see you later. There we go. Thanks, everybody. Now I'm going to turn on view the status bar. Oh, my God. I dropped 33% of the frames. That's bad. And I forgot to record it, the video. So this video is going to die. How bad? Excuse me. How bad was it? Could you guys even understand me? Dropping a third of frames. It wasn't too bad after the first minute? Okay. Well, there we go. It was like watching a stream in 2003. Listen, I was watching streams back. God, I don't even remember when this was. This was back in the days of dial-up. I worked at an internet service provider. And so we had really, really good internet at work. And so I used to watch this show called... I don't remember the name of the show, but it was on the Pseudo Network. Yeah, it was right here. I used to watch this. I applied for a job there as a community manager, but they wanted me to move to New York, and I said no. All right, well, this little red light is driving me crazy, so I'm gonna shut off the stream. Thanks for hanging out with me, everybody, and I'll see you guys around. Bye-bye.